Hi, everybody. Welcome into today's show here on JTV. Thank you to the Insurance Circle Agency, and thanks for watching on TV, online, listening on the podcast. Appreciate it. I'm David Rice. That's Adam. Hello, Adam. How's it going?
Hello, man. Good. It's hump day.
It is. We've got a lot of good football this weekend. Of course, two high school teams still in. A couple of good college games, not as packed, and some good NFL games, though. We will talk about that at the end of the show. And the Pistons have won 2 out of their last 3 games. What's up with that? That's I don't think that was supposed to happen. They're 5-7 now. Something I don't think we expected either at the start. I thought they'd, maybe be 1-10 by now, but we'll get to all that at the end of the show. But let's get started. Of course, the last 2 fall sports still happening. Regionals coming up this weekend in high school football. And now volleyball. Regional semifinals happened Tuesday night. Division II, Ann Arbor Gabriel Richard was the host. Western rallied to win 3-2 over Wixom St. Catherine. Western won the first set, lost the next 2, and then rallied to win the last 2 sets in a row. St. Catherine actually beat Western earlier this year to avenge a loss now for the Panthers. So Western advances to the regional final at Gabriel Richard, and they will take on Tecumseh Thursday night, 6 o'clock. We will have all the regional final scores and some photos coming up again on Monday's show, along with high school football regional championship, of course. Lumen Christi, they fell straight sets to Clinton at Lumen. They were the regional host. Clinton, by the way, really, really good. They have 43 wins this year, Adam. Can you believe that in volleyball? 43 wins.
How many games are in a season?
See, you're asking the wrong.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I was just curious.
But Hanover has 40 wins after yesterday. But Clinton, they defeated Lumen 3-0. Lumen finishes 20-12-2. And Hanover, who beat Manchester yesterday 3-1, will take on Clinton at Lumen in the regional final on Thursday night. You may or may not see David Rice there Thursday night at Lumen for the final. So
may or may not.
May or may not. I might be on the air at 7 o'clock for the Aspen 1 Hour Football Show Thursday night. Yep. I'll be in 2 places at once, right? That's the magic.
7 o'clock is your time, man. I don't know.
That's right. It just so happens to be every day at 7. And then Concord in Division 4 straight sets over Lenawee Christian. They play Mendon in the regional final Thursday, 5 o'clock at Bellevue. So for more volleyball stats from the games, photo galleries, video highlights from last week, everything you want to catch up on with the volleyball action, jtv.tv. The Lions, of course, they play on Thanksgiving, as they usually do. Last year, they had the worst Thanksgiving performance at halftime with Jack Harlow.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You know what? I will argue that the one the year prior was worse.
Who was it before?
I don't remember, but it was that woman that they performed in the concourse instead of out on the field, so anybody that went to the game was just seeing the back of the performance. And it was like, you know where they have that Pepsi thing?
Yeah.
It was like over there.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember who it was, though.
It was somebody that I had never heard of.
But anyways, I thought last year was...
last year was bad. Yeah, it wasn't great.
Not good.
Yeah.
No enthusiasm from the audience either.
It was a weird pick, too. I don't know why they picked him.
Yeah. Well, I think this year will be a lot better.
Yeah, I think this guy...
Because a lot of people like Shabuzi. So he will be performing at halftime, of course. If you, I'm sure you've heard his song at least once.
Yeah.
If not 100 times.
All right, give us a rendition.
No,
David. Go ahead.
We don't want to get a copyright. We were going to play a little snippet, but the YouTube people don't like us in our copyright, in our Facebook.
No.
So
Even with Shabuzi. But yeah, no, I think that performance will be pretty good, and I know my buddy Nick is super excited for that. So that should be a fun halftime show, I think.
They announced the performer too for the Packers game. I should have written that down. I don't remember.
Must not have been a big name then.
No, it wasn't. I didn't even know the person when I first read it. But Lions Thanksgiving halftime show, and back to volleyball really quick. If you want to see more scores, like I mentioned earlier, again, subscribe to JTV Sports for free. We're the only ones here without a paywall. And so, yeah, subscribe for free to your favorite school. Each week we send you an email with everything that's happened that we've covered with your school in the last week. So shout out to David Barker and everybody else who's helped put that together. That's been a great feature for us. And you can subscribe to more than one school if you haven't watched us yet, and we've mentioned that. I think I'm subscribed, I know, to all of the schools. You know, I got to keep up with this show, you know what I mean, with all the teams. So subscribe for free to JTV Sports. And if you click on the homepage as well, just click on that, fill out the little form, put your email in, and we'll get you squared away. So also coming up on the show today, local college basketball started over the last week or two, Jackson College men's and women's, and Spring Arbor. High school hockey is kicking off. Of course, each year on JTV, we bring you both live hockey games between the Jackson United Lumen Christi rivalry. You know, I'm personally not a hockey person, but I am there, you know, when we're there to cover it.
Yeah, you help us out on the broadcast.
Yeah. I'm not on the air. I'm not announcing.
That's right.
But I am behind the scenes.
It's one of it's one of the ones I have the most fun at all year, is that rivalry game. That's always
other than the Rec Bowl, of course.
Rec Bowl's awesome, and baseball's cool too.
Yep.
Yeah, and football's fun.
Yep. But yeah, even, you know, we do football every week.
Yeah.
But no, high school hockey kicks off tonight for Jackson United, Wednesday. So we'll get to that. If you missed Monday's show, we'll preview again the high school football regionals. Myself and Noah Baker will be out on Friday, and then we'll be at Lumen Saturday.
David Rice. Oh, I was muted. The David Rice show.
The David Rice show is on the road.
That's right.
At Lumen Christi Saturday. Plus, MVP candidates for the NFL. There's two that I have written down on my sheet here. ESPN did an article last week with like 25 different reporters and their picks for all the awards. So MVP and Offensive Player of the Year. Right now, I have both of my picks so far.
I as well. Yep.
One reporter made a very interesting pick for MVP. I could see it if this team continues to play as well as they are. I could see more votes coming in for him.
Oh, I'm curious
Offensive Player of the Year, I have a solid
There's
pick.
one guy.
There's one guy. I think we have the same person.
I hope so.
We have a couple college football games this weekend. A big one, Georgia, Tennessee. And now that Georgia has more than one loss, they went down to almost out of the top 12. Mm-hmm. The new college football playoff rankings came out last night, Tuesday. So we'll have that, and we'll look ahead to the college football playoff. Plus, if you watch the NBA, it was weird to see Klay Thompson not in a Warriors uniform yesterday against the Mavericks.
Yeah, super strange.
Plus, again, the Detroit Pistons are 5-7. I know that's still not a good record, but
better than what it was last year. I think we were probably like 20, 30 games in by the time we got 5 wins last year. So,
well, the Pistons only won what? 10 games last year?
Right.
9? It was something awful.
So we're doing way better than we did last year.
But Eric Spoelstra, the only reason why the Pistons won last night is because he pulled a Chris Webber.
He did.
Called a timeout.
C-Web.
And, didn't have one. So we'll get to all that. It's going to be a great show. Thanks to the Insurance Circle Agency and Pataki Orthodontics and everybody else helped bring in you the show. But when we come back, we're going to be playing pickleball, if you haven't seen it already. So we'll get to pickleball when we come back. Stay tuned. Welcome back here on JTV. Again, thank you to the Insurance Circle Agency. So a couple weeks ago, we got to do something cool on the show. Something we haven't really shown at all, really, on JTV. Of course, the old American One Event Center. They did a lot of the chili cook-offs in there and other events. That is now the home of Crossroads Pickleball. And a friend of mine, fellow Packers owner, unfortunately right now, Packers fans, but Stu Kale, we got a chance to play pickleball, and either him or our own Joe Hawley would be the best pickleball players in Jackson County. So I got to learn from the best. Now, I have played before only a few times, so I'm still somewhat of a beginner. So he gave me some tips and some instruction on pickleball, and we even played a few for a few points as well. So if you missed it, well, here it is again, me and Stu Kale at Crossroads Pickleball. The David Royce Show on the road today here at the old American One Event Center. The new one right over there. We're here at Keeley Park, Jackson County Fairgrounds. We're going to be talking today with Stu Kale now from the Crossroads Pickleball. That's what the old American One Center is now, the American One Community Rec Center. Crossroads Pickleball. Pickleball, to me, the fastest growing sport anywhere. I've played a couple of times, but I still might need some basics on how to exactly play. And for those of you that watching or listening that maybe haven't played either, well, we're going to talk to Stu Kale from Crossroads and get some inside knowledge. And who knows, maybe we'll even show you that we're going to play some pickleball. So let's go inside and talk to Stu. We're inside now here at Crossroads Pickleball. Fellow Packers shareholder, Stu Kale from Crossroads. Thanks for doing this, for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So Crossroads, of course, we're inside the old American One Event Center here. Many events held here is what people know this building for. And now it's the home of the pickleball.
Yeah, it was a roller rink at one point. I know I've been to weddings here. I've been to a circus here once before, Crossroads. And so our partnership with the county has been fantastic. And of course, American One coming in and investing in this building for all new bathrooms, shower. It's incredible inside from where it was at almost a little bit over a year ago.
Yeah, in just a year, it went from that to all of this now, and great partners helping to make this possible too.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got support from 6 businesses here in Jackson. So each of the courts are named after those businesses. So when you go on the app to go reserve a time or book a court, those are actually the court names that you'll see right there on the app.
Yeah, and of course, there's memberships available, right?
Yeah, so we wanted to make our model a little unique. We looked at models across the entire state of Michigan and actually across the U.S. and we wanted to make it so that your membership got you something. A lot of times membership just gives you a little bit earlier access to reserving courts or to getting into tournaments or open play. So we actually have 2 different membership options. You can have the option where basically you get to play unlimited in the mornings most days of the week. Or we have like a more of an elite one that if you want to say, hey, I'm all in, I want to play a little bit more. And both of those membership options give you a discount on leagues and tournaments and other things we have here at Crossroads.
And for beginners or somebody who maybe hasn't played pickleball or very limited, you guys offer intro to pickleball classes.
We do, and we were warming up a little bit earlier, and you do not need those classes. You're going to be totally fine. But we do an intro to pickleball class, typically runs about every other week, and it is a great, we've had over about 250 people or so have gone through that since we've opened our doors last year. It's a great way to learn the game. There's a lot of funky rules about pickleball. They're not overly difficult to get. If you're a tennis player, sometimes it's hard to switch your brain off a little bit, but there's a lot of rules, and we want to make sure we can go through those with you so you have the most fun when you get out here.
Right, yeah, I was just going to ask, some people might think, oh, is it just tennis? Not exactly. Slightly different. Quite a few different rules that can get funky.
It is, yeah. There's this middle section of the court. It's called the non-volley zone. People call it the kitchen. You're not allowed to go in there unless the ball goes in there first. So sometimes that's a hard one for a lot of people to get. But yeah, it's definitely has characteristics of tennis, characteristics of ping pong, but it's its own unique game.
Yeah, and you guys have mixers and other events too here, right?
Yeah. So we've had, I think, 3 or 4 mixers since we've opened a year ago. Mixers are so much fun because you get a bunch of people together that may not all play at the same time. We've got multiple courts set up for advanced and intermediate and beginner. So sometimes people want to learn a little bit like, hey, could I play up a level? And that's a great time to do it.
Yeah. Of course, I won't need the lessons, but I think we should step out here, right? Show people what they want to see, right?
Let's show them. Let's show them.
Let's do it. So, real quick here, before we actually get to the action of the game, like we mentioned earlier, slightly different rules than tennis. If you want to explain maybe quickly here some of the differences between tennis and pickleball. Obviously, we're right here, the kitchen, right, or the non-volley.
Yeah, we're in the zone you don't want to be in.
Right.
You don't want to be in. Now, I was not a big racket sport player, so I didn't play a ton of tennis leading up to pickleball. So I don't know all of the comparisons, but I'll tell you kind of the basics of the game. The games are typically played to 11, normally played in doubles is generally how you see. You can play as singles, it's a great workout, but typically it's doubles. At Crossroads, we play where the side up against this wall here starts out serving, it doesn't really matter. And you serve the ball into the opposing corner. The ball cannot fall into this non-volley zone on the serve, and that includes that front line. So it's got to go all the way in. It can hit the back line, the sidelines, but it can't go in that front one. And
so
then
it's got to be like a diagonal from that box to that box, or vice versa.
Exactly. And you only, typically scoring is done where it's only when the team that's serving it is the one that would get the point in the event that that would happen. So if there's a rally scoring, but that's not as common as you'd find. So.
All right, well, now that we got the basics out of the way, I'm going to take a few shots.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
No. So
underhand.
if you drop the ball, if you do not let the ball hit the ground and you hit it, the paddle's got to be going downward like this. You got to really hit it below your belly button.
Right.
And then you got to go on an upward motion. So you can't go like this to serve the ball.
Right.
But if you drop the ball, you can basically do whatever you want as long as you bounce it.
Right. Going to be bounce here, and then the underhand. And see, that wasn't very good there. That's got to be diagonal in the square.
Yes, yeah. So, yeah, you want to typically hit it. Really, when you're serving the ball, there's a lot of strategy you can put into your serve. It's really not as important, to be honest with you, especially if you're just learning the game. But really, typically, further back, the better. Now, keep in mind, the team that's serving the ball also has to let the ball bounce one more time on their side before they can basically then kind of have a free-for-all.
Right.
So I would serve to David, David would return it to me, we have to let it bounce one time, and then it's fair game, you can hit it out of the ground, but it can only be hit one time per side.
Right.
All right.
All right.
So we'll go serve, so I'll have you just return it back to me, David. The best idea when you're returning a serve is to try to get it back here the best as possible, this back third. This area in here, you really never ever want to be in.
Right.
You really want the game to get up right up here to the net, and then you do what's called dinking. It's kind of funny, but that's the term it is.
Right.
And that's where we're just kind of hitting the ball over the net, and we're waiting for basically someone to make a mistake.
Right.
Is more or less what happens there.
Be mostly back here.
Yeah,
so.
You want to be back there. Yep. All right. All right.
And see, on the other way back, you got to let it bounce one time.
I would let it bounce once. Yep.
Yep.
All right, we'll do it again. Okay, here we go. I let it bounce once.
Oh! Okay,
Counts.
so
it counts.
So does that count then?
It does, yeah.
It goes over the net and on the line.
It does. Yeah, so in different to tennis, when I'm serving the ball, if the ball hits the net and still goes inside the square, it counts.
Right.
So, but yes, that would be. But normally, typically you apologize after a shot like that because it's kind of cheap how that happened.
Yeah. But hey, a point's a point.
A point's a point, yeah.
There you go.
So that was short.
Yep.
So you don't get a point.
Right.
And I don't get a point because we're playing standard.
You have
All right.
to serve to get the point.
Yep, so it's 0-0. There we go.
Huh.
All right, 1-0. Oh, good. Oh, all right. So it's 1-0, your serve. You're going to be on that side of the court. Yep. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. You're going to be on that side of the court. We're playing a little backwards of how we started, but regardless.
So even though they don't get the point, they still won that and they switched sides, right?
You go back to the, so technically you would have normally started the game off on that side.
Yep.
So if you didn't score a point on yours in singles, you'd go back to that side that you were at. So since I scored a point, I was an odd, so I'd be on this side.
Right.
But we'll just play it this way for fun.
Yeah.
So it's 0-1. There we go. Good, David. That's in. That's a
we go.
point.
So that's what's up.
All right. So that's basically pickleball in a nutshell.
Yeah. So I'm sweating here. Recover from it. No, that's awesome. I've played a few times, but I will have to come back though. So the mixer is open to anybody to come in?
Yeah, so members get a discount on that, but everything that happens at Crossroads happens through the Court Reserve app. So if you go on our website, it's pretty easy to find, but if you have any questions, message us on Facebook or shoot us an email.
Yeah, of course, follow Crossroads Pickleball on Facebook. Keep up with all their events. Do appreciate the time today. We'll have to do this again sometime.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dave.
So thanks to Stu Kale. That was a lot of fun doing pickleball, by the way.
Yeah, and I'm confused. I guess I'm surprised that you don't use a pickle in pickleball.
Are,
Like, where does it get the pickle from?
are you serious?
Like, why is it
or-
called pickleball? Like, I just
Well, I'm fine. I don't like pickles, so that's fine
okay.
with me.
Wait, a second. You don't like pickles?
No.
Do you like cucumbers?
Yes. I know.
So you don't like the pickling. Do you like anything else that's pickled? Like, do you like pickled
No,
jalapenos?
no pickle
Okay, so you just don't
whatsoever.
like. Do you like
No.
vinegar?
No, I don't like salt and vinegar.
Okay,
like
so yeah,
chips
so
or
maybe it's the vinegar that you don't like.
the dill, the vinegar. Yeah.
Oh no, they should still use a pickle. They should play pickleball, but with a pickle. That should be like a rule. Like if it's like sudden death, you have to use a pickle as the, as like the ball. Yeah, yeah. Or just use a pickle as a paddle. That would be tough.
Yeah, I'd rather use it as a paddle than the
the
ball.
ball?
Yeah, there's no bounce to it. So
It's a good point. There would be no bounce to it.
the conspiracy theories that we can come up with on this
I think
show.
we have an idea for next segment. Pickleball with pickles.
Maybe if anybody's willing to sponsor something about pickles.
Yeah, we could do that.
When we come back, college basketball kicks off locally, high school hockey, and we'll look ahead to the regional final in high school football. Stay tuned. Welcome back here on JTV. Thanks to Crossroads Pickleball and thank you to the Insurance Circle Agency. David, that's Adam. High school football regionals coming up. We'll get to that in a second. College basketball kicked off last week locally. Spring Arbor, the men's team played Tuesday night, 95-67. Big win over Lawrence Tech. Scores and stats from that online in our scoreboard daily on jtv.tv. And I mentioned earlier, high school hockey kicks off tonight. Jackson United hosting Cap City on Wednesday night tonight. So check that out too online at jtv.tv. And of course, high school football regional finals this weekend. Division 6, Lumen taking on Constantine Saturday at 1 o'clock. Constantine really likes the Saturdays, is what I've always been told.
That's what I heard as well at Lumen on last Friday. That you're probably going to be seeing Saturday.
But the semifinals are always Saturday, regardless, at a neutral site.
Oh, really?
So it's
Okay.
another Saturday again next week
Oof.
if Lumen wins. So, so we will be there Saturday at 1 o'clock. So we'll have highlights and plays of the week on Monday's show from that. Plus, myself, man, I got back-to-back football games Friday night and then Saturday afternoon. Leslie at Monroe St. Mary Catholic Central, the worst field conditions I've ever been to. I hope they're not watching. Leslie at Monroe St. Mary Friday night, 7 o'clock. Myself and our own Noah Baker will be there and make the trek down to Monroe. So that's Friday night. That should be a great game. Monroe is actually the number 1 team in Division 7. So it's a tough game for Leslie. And now it was last week. You know, obviously they had to get the stop on the 2-point to win. But Leslie traveling again a long distance in this round. And that's what's tough about, you know, depending on what division you play in. And that's if Grass Lake would have made the playoffs, which, you know, I'm still upset about, but that's because they're Division 6. If now they wouldn't have beat Lumen Christi in the first round, that's who they would have played because they're the only other team here locally who made the playoffs in D6. But if they were to, let's say, not play Lumen, they'd be on the whole playoffs. They'd be traveling far each round, and a lot of people, especially on social media and other media people, want the MHSAA to move towards seeding the playoffs, not just by putting the teams together each district based on geography. But it just, if you get in the playoffs and then out of those 16 teams or 8 per region, seed them. Also, that way you don't have let's say, if Grass Lake was Division 7, I know they're not, but let's say they were 7. They made the playoffs. They played Leslie first round, for example. They've already played Leslie this year. So by doing that, that avoids teams playing each other more than once this year, unless if they already played each other a second time, like in the conference championship. But besides that, that would avoid teams playing each other 2 or 3 times in a 9-game stretch, which would be ridiculous because, you play 9 regular season games plus game number 10 is the first round of the playoffs. You know what I mean? I don't see why teams need to play each other 2 or 3 times, in one season. And that way you get the best matchups deep in the playoffs. That way you don't have the 2 best teams in a whole side of the bracket playing each other in the second round. But I understand why they don't, because of travel. The lower, let's say the 8 seed would have to go all the way to let's say a Detroit school. So I understand travel and time, and that's why they don't do it. But a lot of people want the regional seeding and back to 6 wins, and they get in. So, and that's where I don't know. I'm curious what you think on that, because a lot of people are 50-50. They like the playoff point system, but it doesn't benefit Grass Lake because they're in Division 6 this year. They don't get any points because Napoleon, Leslie, EJ, Vanderbilt, they're all 7 and 8.
Right. You shouldn't punish a team based on what division they're
the
in.
schedule that they have to play because the conference that they're in.
That's a little weird. But yeah, no, I mean, like we've talked about many times, I don't think Grass Lake should have missed out on the playoffs this year. So that should tell you what I think
because there were
it.
a couple D3 teams who made it in at 4 and 5,
Right.
or one locally here, or another D3 or 4 team that got in at 3 and 6.
Right.
So I know they have to play their schedule, and you get what you get. And you can't just pick up and move to another conference like that. It has to be voted on and approved and blah, 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 blah. But, for example, about the 2 best teams playing early in the playoffs, last week, Bryce Underwood and Belleville, they played the other best team in Division 1 in the second round, Saline, in the district final. You know what I mean? You get the 2 best teams playing in the first or second round, and the 2 best teams aren't meeting at Ford Field or the semifinal. So, but they were only paired together in the district, obviously, because geographically, Saline, Belleville. I don't know. That's a debate that's going to go on and on and on. I think eventually, in the next couple years, you're going to get a switch back to 6 wins or something like that. Because, again, like you mentioned, you have to play the schedule. You can't be punished. It's not Grass Lake's fault that Vandercook and EJ and Leslie are all Division 7 and 8. You know what I mean? So, but anyways, Leslie Division 7 at Monroe St. Mary's Friday, Lumen Saturday against Constantine. Man, Lumen's been really prepping against these Wing T teams. Constantine is another very good Wing T team. In Josh's post-game interview we showed you on Monday, you can go back and watch it on our Facebook. Coach Brogan said, if you want to learn how to play in a Wing T offense, you go to Constantine. Now, there's other great teams in our area who run full house or Wing T. Hanover, Napoleon, Manchester, but Constantine and Ida and Hudson are the top 3 in that. So I expect a very good game against a very familiar opponent for Lumen Christi. So I'm looking forward to being there on Saturday.
It's going to be a good game. I think Lumen's going to probably run away with it, but we'll see. We'll see.
You think runaway?
I think they might. I don't say running clock, but I think it's going to be.
I
think going into the fourth quarter, we're going to be like, oh, okay, this is kind of where we like this.
I think it could end up being like the same as last week, where it's one score mid third quarter, and like maybe Constantine is going to do something here,
right?
But because they've played a couple wing T teams already, Lumen defensively will be prepared.
Yeah.
Because Constantine, Ida's a very good team who already played Hudson, another T, but Constantine's on another upper level, kind of like how Lumen's up here and everybody else is beneath. So expect a very good game. It's going to be a tough ask for Leslie against Monroe St. Mary. Obviously, we hope Leslie wins. They're the local team. But if I had to make a game pick, looking at Monroe's stats and their schedule, they've shut out a couple teams as well. This was a very good team. And 2 years ago, when Napoleon made their semifinal run, and then back to my point earlier about quickly about the geography, somehow 2 years ago, Napoleon and Lumen didn't meet until the semifinal in Chelsea. But the round before they played Lumen, Napoleon played at Monroe St. Mary. They won 14-7 in the playoffs, but that's a very good Monroe. And they went 5-4 in the regular season, I believe, or 6-3, and had to win to get in the playoffs that year, and then made it all the way to the regional final. But I expect a very good game. But if I had to make a game pick, just Monroe's been so dominant. They're averaging almost 30 to 40 points a game. I would pick Monroe St. Mary. Now, I'm not saying they run away with it. It'll be a very good game, just like Saturday will be. But if I had to make a pick, I'd probably take Monroe St. Mary.
Since we don't have anything on the line, I'll definitely take Leslie.
Yeah. And now I still have to worry about wearing the.
Oh yeah, that's coming.
Stuff,
that's coming during that Packers Lions week.
That's coming up quickly too.
It is. You got some Lions to wear because you're gonna have to wear you're gonna have to deck.
I know some people.
Okay, you got to have a Lions hat. No matter what kind of hat, got to have a Lions hat.
So what all do I have to wear?
Lions hat
before we go to break here. The shirt.
Lions hat and a shirt or jersey or something, the equivalent. So you got to have double.
The only
Lions.
jersey I will wear from the Lions is Hutch, just because he played for Michigan.
Perfect. I got a Hutch jersey you can wear if you want.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
When we come back, we'll talk NFL or MVP candidates. We have a lot of good NFL games too coming up in Week 11, plus college football and the new playoff rankings. So stay tuned. Welcome back here on JTV. David Rice, that's Adam. Thank you to the Insurance Circle agency, myinsuranccircle.com. NFL Week 11 coming up Thursday Night Football. The Commanders, Washington, Jaden Daniels taking on Philly, who just beat the living you-know-what out of the Cowboys on Sunday.
That was very satisfying.
It was a national audience, too.
It was
That's
satisfying.
sad. Were you watching part of the game when they came back from break and the fan was holding up the sign saying, "We want Romo to come out of the booth"?
I saw that. That is so awesome.
Romo trying to warm up his arms there. But no, Philly is hosting Washington. That's a huge NFC East battle because obviously the Giants aren't in contention and neither are the Cowboys. So these two meetings between Washington and Philly is for the division.
I like that game, and I think that game could be very close. I think the Eagles, though, might be able to take the victory there.
Washington coming off a big, tough loss to Pittsburgh, jumping off sides.
Why did they do that? That was so dumb. Everybody in the
place
knew
stupidest
what they were doing. Oh.
Yeah. Rivalry week, the Packers taking on the Bears at Soldier Field. Packers by a mile because the Bears have been struggling.
Bears are on their low point right now. So yeah.
3 against the Patriots. The Patriots.
Yeah, that's bad.
Who are even worse than Chicago. Well, going into it.
By the end of the season, it might be different. I don't know.
Right now, the Giants have the number 1 pick, by the way. And I've already seen the rumors. Dion is going to come to the Giants and coach.
No.
And then they're going to take Shadur number 1.
Okay,
And
that's
he's going to bring his whole staff and make it, his team.
That'd be interesting.
Because him and Travis Hunter will both be top 10 picks.
Giants better hope to get a couple early picks. Maybe they could get both of them.
Could they make another stupid trade like the Bears did and get DJ Moore?
There you go.
So far it's been nothing but a bag of salt and vinegar so far this year.
I wouldn't say that. DJ Moore's done better than that.
Well,
He's been pretty good.
okay, well anyways, the Bears still suck. The Lions have an easy game as well. They take on Jacksonville.
For sure. That game's gonna be nasty. Get ready for a beatdown.
Just like I think it'll be like the Titans game, where it was like 50-14 or something. Although when Green Bay played at Jacksonville, McManus hit a game-winning field goal. But we were playing with Malik Willis. Jacobs didn't do well.
Vikings played them close as well, so who knows?
But the Vikings also aren't as good as they started the year as.
Right. And we're talking about the Lions here. We're talking about the Detroit Lions.
Right. The Ravens taking on the Steelers. That will be a very, very good game. As much as the Bengals have been playing okay, they've still been losing games. But, they've been playing well. They've been scoring 30, 40 points, but they're still losing the games. So I don't think they're in contention to win the division.
It really is Ravens Steelers. It really is.
Obviously, the Browns are done.
Yep.
The Bengals, I don't think so. Again, just like Washington, Philly, these two meetings between the Ravens, Steelers. Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes.
Classic
again.
matchup. This is like our version of Manning versus Brady.
Yeah, but you know how it ends though. Every time the Chiefs win,
awesome. But that's like
it's still
fun.
classic games.
Yeah, it's like the games are always so good
because the Chiefs have. I mean, they're still undefeated, but because the Chiefs have struggled in some games, do you think this is the year the Bills finally beat Kansas City?
Is this? I wonder. I don't know if you know. Is this in Buffalo?
I'm pretty sure it's at Buffalo. Let me.
Yeah,
look here, but I think it'll be a very, very good game.
Yeah,
again.
I think so. And that's the thing. I think. I think Buffalo has a chance, but it's weird. It's almost like I could see them losing this game, but then winning a game
at Buffalo, 4:30.
At Buffalo, okay.
Let's see. And the spread on that game is Buffalo -2.
Yeah, so it's pretty close. I cannot believe that a team that's undefeated is going against a team that's been very good. I get that, but that the spread is -2 against the undefeated team. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
And you know how normally, like in college, you might see a team on the spread minus like 34.
Yeah,
that doesn't
you're not
happen in
gonna
the
get
NFL.
that. Yeah.
The Lions are -13.5 right now, which is huge for NFL betting. Packers -5.5. Baltimore -3. The Eagles -3.5 against Washington. Niners are only -6.5 against Seattle.
Yeah, but that kind of makes sense. I think they're on the upswing. They got McCaffrey back. Like,
yep. Saints -1 against the Browns. Denver only -2.5 against the Falcons.
I know the Saints have played bad, but boy, oh boy, Saints. They're going to beat them. They're going to beat the Browns. They're not.
See that wide open pass at the end of the game that they dropped?
Yeah, that was bad.
And then Sunday Night Football, Bengals, Chargers. That got flexed into Sunday night. Jim Harbaugh in prime time at LA, and the Chargers -1.5. They're 6-3, by the way.
Yeah.
Playing against the 4-6 Bengals, Chargers -1.5. That's what I expect.
Give me the Chargers at home. Come on.
Chargers?
At home? Come on.
Okay.
Chargers, I'm telling myself now, Chargers are a good team, so I need to start treating them like a good team.
And they don't get the love that they deserve as far as like TV audience because they always get stuck with the C or D team on whatever network at 4:30. So nobody watches them either.
I mean, they've played so well, so it's just,
Right. And then the Monday night game is the Texans. Why are the Cowboys in prime? I'd much rather watch the Packers-Bears on Monday night.
It's because it's the battle for Texas. It's Dallas
I know,
against
but
Houston.
Dallas is so bad. Even when Trey Lance came in, so horrible.
Yeah.
Texans are -7.5 in that game.
Whoa, that's crazy because that's coming off of a really poor second half performance where they didn't score anything.
Right. College football this weekend. Here are the new playoff rankings. Oregon still number 1. Ohio State still number 2. Texas jumped up to 3, 2 spots. Penn State up 2 spots to number 4. Even though Indiana beat a bad Michigan team, they went up 3 spots to number 5. But probably because Miami lost, so they're down to number 9. Georgia lost. They're number 12 at 7-2. They dropped 3 spots. I know it
tore my heart out. Tore my heart out.
Boise State went down 1 spot to number 13, even though they won.
Yeah, it's just trying
Tennessee
to adjust it.
stays at number 7. So number 7 versus number 12. Georgia loses. They're out of the playoff now. That'll be 3 losses.
Georgia's got to win. Yeah.
It's elimination. Still, even for Alabama, it's elimination. They're at number 10, but they have 2 losses. Also in the playoff, Ole Miss at number 11. They have 2 losses.
It's a weird season.
I know. Colorado went up to 17. South Carolina's now ranked at 21.
If you would have told me South Carolina's ranked, Boise State has probably the best player in the nation, and Alabama and Georgia it's potential that they might not even make the SEC championship, I'd be like, what?
Army 9-0, but they're number 24. They have 1, 2, 3. They have 3 3-loss teams ahead of them in the rankings.
I wonder if it would at all be possible for them to make the playoff.
They'd be like the UCF situation. They could go 12-0, win their conference, and still not get in.
That'd be so crazy.
Just because Army's in the American, the AAC.
You know, let them play. Let them play in the thing. If you're undefeated, you should at least be able to play.
They're going to play Penn State. They'd play
out.
Penn State or Indiana in the first round. They both, Penn State besides Ohio State, they haven't played anybody.
Right.
Indiana hasn't played anybody.
Right.
Until they play Ohio State next week, and they're going to get stomped by them in Columbus. Dropped from the rankings, Pitt and Iowa State. Tulane is now ranked 8-2 at number 25. Louisville is the highest ranked 3-loss team at number 19. And then South Carolina and LSU is at number 22. And then Missouri, 23 with 2 losses. So Michigan State plays at Illinois. Illini will win that at home. I'll take Tennessee over Georgia and end Georgia's season.
Wow, thanks. Just to have the hopes alive, I'm hoping Georgia can win. Even though I typically take Tennessee.
Are you still riding on Georgia, even though they're not making the playoff now?
No, they need to. Well, remember, I need them to win the SEC, and that's definitely not going to happen. But
in order to even stay in that race, they have to win this weekend.
Well, that's the thing. So it's like, you know what? I'm just going to hope that they win.
So this weekend is literally do or die.
It is.
For them. Well, from here on
and
out.
I need other SEC teams to lose, essentially, for me to be able to
A&M, Ole Miss, Alabama.
It's tough. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see if it's at all possible.
So
I was just going to say real fast, because I want to make sure we get to this. You brought up earlier about the MVP candidates.
Yep.
I do want to hear that.
Yeah. So ESPN did an article a couple weeks ago. They had 20, almost 30 reporters give their picks. So I just want to touch on 2. NFL MVP candidates. I don't remember the exact name of the report. I don't have it written down. Shows how much I did prep ahead of the show. No. You know the guy I was talking about surprising? That guy, Jared Goff, is the MVP.
If you told me before that Houston Texans game, I'd believe you with how good we've played and how good he's played, but that Texans game probably derailed that MVP talk.
Yeah, 5 interceptions isn't going to help.
Yeah, I still think it's...
but the majority had... Go ahead.
Lamar or Josh Allen? Lamar. I think it's either
only
or.
one person at Josh Allen. Everybody was Lamar.
I'd be okay with either of them. If the Bengals as a team had played better and has won more games, you can argue Burrow, who leads the league in QBR, would be the guy.
So right now I'd put Lamar as the MVP.
I'm very close between Lamar and Josh Allen. I don't know which one, but be very
close. Who
I'd
I'd put second behind Lamar Jackson? A couple people had Jaden Daniels in there. I'd put Jaden Daniels.
I'd put
maybe not number 2, but in the kind of bubble conversation.
Yeah, maybe if they play a little bit better. I would say
I think Philly game will be very telling.
If he has an awesome game, yeah, for sure. But I don't know. I think he's kind of runaway rookie of the year. I know Caleb Williams is kind of hanging out there as well, but he'll be runaway
but he's
rookie
been
of the year.
horrible.
Yeah.
Even though I know he still might get votes because he was the number 1 pick.
Right,
and he's
but
got
we
all
know
the
it's
hype
going to be Daniels, especially if Daniels gets 1 MVP vote or something like that, you know he's gonna. Or
I
just
think
in
he'll
the
get at
running.
least one.
Yeah, then you know for sure. Yeah, by all those Washington newspaper writers. Who votes on the MVP? Do we know?
It's all media.
Okay, so it is media. Yeah.
No coaches.
Okay.
It should be coaches.
Coaches and players,
All 32 coaches.
and every single player.
I don't know about every single
I think
player.
so.
That's too many players.
Why is it too many players?
Because there's like 53 times
Yeah.
32
Yeah, that's not too many.
plus 30. I think it should be the 32 coaches and GMs, 64.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of like coaches.
So 53
and
times 32, that's 1,696.
tally up the votes. I like them being able to vote like from their peers being able to vote because nobody would know those players better than them
That's fair. I
compared
didn't
to
think about
the
it like
media
that.
and the writers. Like especially these writers who have never played sports in their lives, and it's just kind of like they might not know what those guys might know.
Right. I know sometimes Charles Barkley says things that are really stupid, but he always has brought up a good point. Some of these networks where they cover all sports and talk about them, 95% of the people on those shows, he said it before, have never played a sport,
Oh, for
maybe
sure.
just in high school. And they want to act like they know everything about every sport.
Mm-hmm.
Like Stephen A. I know he doesn't watch hockey, baseball. Like, those are his two main.
Right.
He's a football, basketball, boxing. And then, like, when Max Kellerman was on ESPN,
Yeah.
like, he was a boxing guy.
Right.
And then you can watch a whole 15-minute compilation on YouTube of some of the stupidest things that he's ever said.
Well, just that ESPN when they had a UFC, like they brought out Stephen A. Smith and all these guys who had never covered UFC, and they were trying to say what happened to Conor McGregor in this fight, and it's just like you guys don't know anything you're talking about.
right.
Don't even really watch the sport. They
Right.
don't even really watch.
Yeah. Really the only people you should be listening to are the commentators that are with Joe Rogan on the fight.
Yeah.
So
Anik and Rogan and DC, all those guys.
right. Offensive player of the year in the NFL.
Derrick Henry.
Yep, Derrick Henry. Now, does Jaden Daniels get votes for offensive player of the
I
year?
think it has to be Derrick Henry.
Well, I know he'll win, but I
Yeah.
mean, as far as like,
Does he get any
does he
votes?
get any votes? He's got to have a few. If he's going to have a couple for MVP, he's got to have votes for
But
that.
how do you not vote Lamar over him? Like if you're like, okay, no, I'm not going to give it to Derrick Henry. Let me give it to a quarterback. How do you not? based
Lamar
on the
wins
numbers?
either offensive of the year or MVP, one of the two.
He'll win MVP just because they won't give that to Derrick Henry.
Because running or non-quarterbacks never win
Yeah, it's
MVP. I know it's
rare.
happened
You have
before.
to break records or have like the most ungodly season.
Right.
Yeah.
Which Derrick Henry's had a great season.
Oh, he's had an amazing season.
But the numbers aren't.
But if he had like 30 touchdowns and like 2,000 yards, then yeah, he's winning MVP. But obviously it's not going to be that, but he's going to have a really good year.
Right. And then how about defensive player there? I don't have it written down here, but really quick,
It was going to be
defensive player
Hutch
of the
for
year.
me. It's probably going to be.
Oh, it was before he got hurt at
Yeah,
Hutch.
it's probably going to be Watt. That's the safe choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you had to put money on the betting.
Yeah, if I had to do that, I would do Watney. I bet you he's the favorite.
NBA Pistons are now 5-7, and it was weird to see Klay Thompson in a Golden State jersey, or not in a Golden State
Yeah,
jersey.
no, that's really, really strange.
playing
to
for the
see.
Mavericks.
Yeah, hit some threes. Didn't look too bad.
Yeah. Curry made a 3 at the end. Lights out, night.
Bye bye.
Yep. Warriors won over the Mavericks. So subscribe to JTV Sports. We've got all the high school football regionals Friday and Saturday. We've got volleyball regional final Thursday night, Concord and Hanover still in it. Hanover taking on Clinton. So we'll have photos from that online, plus Spring Arbor and Jackson College basketball. Both men's and women's Spring Arbor soccer are still not eliminated this season either. So we've got all the sports. Subscribe and go to our weekend wrap-up scoreboard on Sunday and our daily scoreboard as well. So anything else? It's going to be a great college football and NFL weekend.
Yeah, for sure. And Lumen Christie,
Lumen
we got
Saturday,
Leslie on
Leslie
Friday.
So
good stuff.
we'll have all that to recap on Monday's show and our top plays of the week. So thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.